Hey guys, Joe here. Welcome back to another episode of Minecraft on the RiffRaft server. There we go, an intro that I don't screw up. Like I said, welcome back to another episode of Minecraft on the RiffRaft server. Today, back over at the Kingdom. Recording this literally an hour after I recorded the last one. I rendered it out, edited it, all that nonsense, and I got the video ready to go. So, you're here. You might have seen episode Monday, in which I worked over at PvP Playground. Today I'm just going to be digging out some more of the inside of the castle while I talk about my stories from the previous weekend. And if you've seen the last episode, you know what I'm talking about. Last weekend I went to a festival with my best friend, and I saw some other friends there, and some stuff happened. And I only got through about one day, Friday, so I still have 2 more days to tell the story of. So, like I said, I'm just going to be carving out some more of this wall as I speak to you guys in my luscious voice. Anyways, let's just get back to the story, shall we? Just one more quick thing before I start. If you haven't seen that, I recommend going and watching it, because this story makes a lot more sense in that case. So, anyways, where was I? Oh, yes, I had just ridden the zipper and made a promise that I regretted. So, we rode the zipper, much to my enjoyment and her dismay of heights, her being my best friend Ashley. And I sold basically my soul to the devil, and I promised her if she could ride the zipper with her eyes open because she's afraid of heights, then I would ride the fireball, which I explained in the last video is a sort of roller coaster-esque thing where you just kind of go in a circle, and it's terrified me ever since I was a child. But yeah, so we rode the zipper. I actually recorded a little bit on the zipper, not the ride itself, but afterwards. I may have a vlog coming up, or it may already be out. I have no clue at this point, to be perfectly honest. My vlog posting is extremely sporadic because of lack of footage or just like not interesting footage. Like a lot of the footage I got was riding rides, so I don't know if I'm gonna post it. Hopefully I do. I have to get in contact with her to get the fireworks footage, but yeah. So we ride the zipper, and it's approaching time to leave. So we meet up with her little sister who needs a ride home. So we meet up with her, then we walk across the street out of the festival to wait for my mother, because the parking lot was full. Figured, hey, let's give her an easy job and walk to a less crowded place so she can just pick us up and we can leave. Well, we get to the parking lot and we're just chilling around and we're waiting, and we break out into they break out into like a fierce game of ninja. If you don't know what ninja is, it's sort of like you count down from like 5 or something, you get into a ninja pose, and then you go in turns, and then every turn that you have, you try to break, like, not break, but like you try to hit the other person's like limbs, arms wise, and the last person standing wins. And they broke out into this fierce game of ninja, and like we'd been sitting there for like 15 minutes at that point, 15-20 minutes. And my mom still hadn't showed up, so I decided, okay, you know what, we're going to be here a while, might as well join in. Join in? My mom shows up right as the game starts, so she walks up, or drives up, me looking silly as silly, and she, like, looks at me weird, questions what we're doing, but of course it makes sense to me, because I've been on the internet long enough to know what the ninja game is, so, you know, I wouldn't even have questioned it if I had seen it, but she didn't, so it just probably looked like some strange bird-like interpretive dance. I have no clue. But she picks us up, we go to McDonald's, get some food, and that pretty much concludes what Friday's activities were. Saturday was the fireworks spectacular. So, the thing about Friday was, because this is the not because it was the fireworks spectacular, but part of Saturday was the fact that there were no wristbands, and as I explained last episode, wristbands get you through all the rides for a certain amount of time. Well, Saturday there were no wristbands, so the only way you're going to ride a ride is if you purchase tickets, and I am not, I am funding challenged. I'm poor, so naturally I couldn't afford tickets, so we just went to see the fireworks. We get in there, again, because we had our buttons and everything, they worked for all 4 days. We get in there, We walk around. I see a few of my friends that I didn't see the day before. I talk to them for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and we walk around. And after maybe 5 minutes of walking around, we realize, okay, there's too many people here. Let's leave. So I call my mom back. She comes and picks us up. And we go to a parking lot that's down the street where you can still get a good view of it. It's just not so crowded. So we go to the parking lot. Whatever. We're going to watch the fireworks. And we just chill out. She's basically laying on the hood of the car. I'm kind of moving around because I couldn't find a place where I was comfortable. And, yeah, we watched the fireworks. And they were actually a really good show. I haven't seen any fireworks since the 4th of July last year because I don't go to many things with fireworks. And even then, though, it kind of like a lukewarm experience because I was already upset that day. But these fireworks were really, really nice looking. And oh, God, the Grand Valley was so awesome. And since we knew that was the only thing that we were going to be doing that day, we just figured, or I figured, that I'd ask her if she wanted to go see a movie, considering her mom works there and we can get in for free. So we get in, and we're going to see X-Men Days of Futures Past, which is the newest X-Men movie. And, by the way, fantastic film if you like the X-Men movies. It just, oh God, blew me away. When we go see X-Men, and we get in there, nothing different than usual. She shines the list that says that, you know, her mom works there, blah, blah, blah. She gives us, not she, but the lady at the counter gives us the tickets, and we walk up to the counter, where we trade in the tickets, and I look at the guy that's taking the tickets dead in the eyes, and, like, I swear to God, this man was the best person I have ever met in my entire life. He was dressed up as Wolverine. He had his hair all slicked up and frickin' sideburns, and he even had a name tag that said Logan on it. And like he just took our tickets and said, "Enjoy your show." And I just looked at him, and this is coming from me, somebody who has like a really bad like social anxiety problems, and I don't like talking to people, let alone people I don't know. And it figures that it only took a massive amount of fanboyism to break through my social barriers, because I just looked at him and was like, "Dude, you're freaking awesome." And he just kind of looks at me with this like really like awesome smile, and he's like, "Thank you very much." And I was like, which is stupid considering I have no idea who this dude is. But it was still really, really cool, and it made the movie so much better. We saw it in 3D, real D 3D, not IMAX, which isn't as impressive, I'm coming to find out. Mainly because that was the latest show, and it was the one that we were able to see. So we go and see it. I sit through it. It was a really, really good movie. I loved it so much. They fixed all the problems in the almost all the problems in the X-Men universe, while still sort of expanding on the previous films. Not going to spoil anything, but you get to see a few familiar faces you probably didn't expect to see beforehand. So basically with the X-Men movies, the only two canon films really are X-Men First Class and Days of Futures Past, and those are the only two films that actually happened for sure. The rest got rewritten by the history changing and the continuity and whatnot. But yeah, we saw that movie. It was really, really good. I recommend seeing it if you're a fan of the X-Men. Heck, I recommend seeing it if you're not a fan of the X-Men, because it's a fun action, superhero, time travel movie. It's just a big mishmash of everybody's favorite genres of film, so totally recommend going and seeing it. It was worth it. After that, we stop off and get some food, and then the night pretty much ended there. Sunday happened, right? So Sunday was the day. Saturday night, I was pretty restless. Took me a while to get to sleep. For many reasons, but a big portion of that was I realized that the next day would be Sunday. Sunday is the day that I originally had wristbands for. The day we get to ride rides, for sure. And I just lay in bed thinking, tomorrow's the day I die. Because, as I said before, that fireball ride is absolutely dreadful. So, I was laying in bed dreading it. So, wake up Sunday, make some ramen noodles to eat, and we get to the fairgrounds where we had been the previous 2 days. We get there and exchange our tickets for bracelets or whatever. We ride my favorite ride, which is zero gravity, and basically, if you don't know what it is, it's like it spins really, really quickly, and you stick to the wall, which I realized during the second time I rode that makes no sense. It's called zero gravity, yet it spins you so quickly, gravity sort of increases and you move, and you can't move, so it's kind of a redundant title I've come to realize, but I guess it's just one of those things you're not supposed to question. But yeah, we rode that and got some more food. And then it was go time. It was time to ride the fireball. And at this point, I'm not okay, I'm not even gonna lie. I was shaking pretty bad. I was covering it up decently. I was kind of just patting my hands on my pants to sort of preoccupy myself with my fears. And we were standing in line, and I just took out my phone, turned on my Wi-Fi, because I'd turned it off to conserve battery. And I messaged my friend Noah, who's been on this channel before, if you recognize who he is. I messaged my friend Noah, who is very computer deprived because he has really bad laptop and internet. And I just messaged him, hey, if I die, you can have my computer. Because I was dead set that I was not going to make it out of this ride. So, I messaged him that, quickly turn off my internet to conserve battery, just in case, the odd chance that I don't perish in the entire incident. And I put it back in my pocket. Only to find out that the fireball is synonymous with people losing objects. So, I was instructed to take out my headphones, well, basically everything that was in my pockets, which consisted of about $5, headphones, my house keys, my phone, I had to take off my glasses, and my hat, which, if you don't know me, a hat, a beanie specifically, is a mandatory part of my daily uniform. Uniform being my style. So we take all that stuff off. She hands me her phone and whatever loose stuff she had in her pocket, and I put it in my hat. We walk up to the guy who's running the booth, and apparently, well, not apparently, I was told that we could just ask him to hold the stuff, and he would. Get up there. This dude is a massive twat. I'm not even gonna lie, he's just kind of a douche. I could get up there, she asked him if he can hold her stuff, he's just like, nah, get on the ride. I'm like, damn, okay, freaking, were you born in the pit of Mount Doom? Like, okay then, Mr. Grumpy, who's shit in your Wheaties. But, I get on the ride, and I'm awfully shaky because, like I said, absolutely terrified. And, we sit sort of in the end of the boat, or not boat, we sort of sit in the end of the car, so, you know, we don't have too much, like, up and down areas. Mainly, it's just I didn't want to be directly up and down. I wanted to be at an angle as much as I could. So we sit down, and then two women that I don't know come and sit in front of us. And they made the experience of riding this ride absolutely bearable. Because they were the funniest people I could have chosen to ride that ride with. Oh my god. After the ride, my stomach was in knots and everything, but the entire experience of riding the ride was, the pressure and fear of riding that ride was lessened so much due to the fact that, yes, I was absolutely terrified, but these two girls were way scared than I was, and that gave me extreme comfort. And of course there were two girls that I didn't know, granted not my age or attractive, or I don't know them, but still, two people I don't know are sitting across from me, my best friend to my right, so of course I'm like, okay, just suck it up, you big wimp, you gotta sit through it and ignore your fears. So I sort of just sit there and laugh awkwardly at their shenanigans because they're being silly and whatnot about the item of clothing that they're wearing. So at this point I realize, okay, I have a hat full of stuff that could very well just fall off from a very high height and I could never see it again, or even worse, it could fall on the track and they'd have to stop us mid-air, not mid-air, but like stop us floating in mid-air to go retrieve it so it doesn't break the ride. So I take this time to jury rig my hat under my seatbelt buckle, in between my legs, and pushing upwards on my buckle, so just in case we go up there, nothing falls out. And I'm pushing very, very hard upwards with my legs into under the strap of the ride because I really don't want my phone to fall, let alone, or not just my phone, but everything me and her own. So I'm kind of uncomfortably sitting there, legs tenser than something that's very tense. I'm kind of, it's 4 in the morning, I couldn't think of a good description, but my legs were tensing up insanely, and it's about time for the ride to start. The guy sits down, makes sure everybody's buckled in nice and tight, and goes to sit to his control panel where he controls the ride. At this point in time, the two girls sitting across from me, their shenanigans overflow. The two girls are of darker descent, African American to be specific, and they made that ride, like I said, extremely bearable, because we barely start moving, and just one of the girls is like, "Oh Lord, this is the day I die," and I about lost it. Like, my friend to my right was just laughing really, really hard, like, sort of laughing nonchalantly, I guess. Like, I guess she didn't want to laugh, like, so, I don't know how, it's hard to explain. I don't know, if you know that laugh where, like, you're laughing around somebody that you don't know and they're funny or something, but you don't want to laugh and make them feel like you're insulting them, so you just kind of laugh to yourself, but you can tell something's really, really funny. It was that kind of laugh. So they're going on about how they're going to die, and that's making me feel somewhat uncomfortable and somewhat more comfortable, because I'm like, okay, if I die, at least my happy moments, or at least my last moments, are going to be filled with the joy of these entertaining females and my best friend. So I figured, okay, if I die, at least be around somebody that I care about a lot. So we get to the ride, and it's starting, and we get to the top, and it's going pretty fast at that point. It's doing its rotations around and around, and I start to freak out because my leg muscles cramp up really, really bad. I didn't tell anybody, like, I don't think I even mentioned it to her, but, like, at the top of the ride, right as it, like, started going, my leg muscle, or my left leg, which was pushing up really hard against my hat so nothing fell out, just started tensing up, and, like, terribly. And, like, I still, that, my left leg is messed up. I must have pulled a muscle on that ride from the overexertion of it. I can't walk, barely. But yeah, the ride goes on, and I didn't die. So, that happened. I managed to ride the ride, and none of my stuff fell out. None of it fell 50 feet to the ground. Nothing happened. I didn't die. I didn't perish. And the girls were okay. They were relatively, you know, spunky, I guess you'd say. Had a little trouble getting off the ride, though. It was a really, really complicated process for me. But yeah, all was fine and dandy. The moment I stepped off the car, though, I was holding my hat in hand, all of my items still in my hand. I got off the cart. My friend preceding me. She got off first. She's almost off the ride. And my hand must have slipped because out of nowhere, my phone just decided it wanted to be, I don't know, something that dives. Again, bad analogies. My phone decided it wanted to be Mr. Divey Pants, jumped out of my hat, and landed face first on the metal floor of the ride. Which sucked, because then it proceeded to turn my phone off, which I was really scared that it broke my phone, but it didn't, thank God. So I put that back in my thing, get everything situated. I had to get my hat back in order and perfect. I had to get my glasses back on, turn my phone back on, everything. At this point in time, my heart is just racing because I'm so stressed out from the preceding 5 minutes of my life, which I was absolutely certain I wasn't going to make it. But, yeah, it wasn't that bad of an experience, to be honest. I survived one of my biggest fears with somebody that made it so much more bearable. Like, seriously, I've never even, like, when I was small, I used to go to festivals a lot with my mother, and, like, she'd always ask me if I wanted to ride that ride, and I'd be like, no, never riding that ride, ever. I don't know, it's just something about, like, who I was with. I'm like, okay, you know what, let's do this. I'm gonna be a man. I don't have much dignity in my life, but this will be the day that I gain some street cred, Holmes. Basically, I figured if I die, I'm at least going to die around somebody that I don't mind dying around. But I'm proud of myself. I actually fought a fear that I have and succeeded and came out victorious for the most part. I do have an extremely strained leg, and that's really uncomfortable. So yeah, that pretty much concludes the weekend. After that, we rode a ride, which we had to stand in line for a little bit because apparently a couple minutes before us, somebody threw up on it, and that was kind of disgusting. But But yeah, that pretty much concludes the rest of the day. Later on, when the wristbands ran out, we sat there for a really long time, and then we just kind of walked to our friend's house because it was way too hot to be sitting outside. And then we had cold water, and she had a Coke, and we just kind of bummed around until Mother came and picked us up. I'm going to go put all this stone and stuff back in this chest. I'll come back to you, and we'll just do a little bit cleaning up before we end it off, and yeah, see you in a second. Holy crap, this is a long episode. This is probably the longest episode I have ever recorded in pretty much one take. I'm not even counting this bit right here. This is just ending off the episode. It's the longest episode I've ever recorded in one go, so I'm actually surprised I managed to do that as successfully as I did. Holy crap, 20 minutes of just talking and cutting out stone. Like, well, I hope my daredevilish activities over the weekend were enough to entertain you. So moral of the story is, if you feel like you're gonna die, pawn off your stuff to your friends. So at least if you die, somebody can enjoy your belongings. Also, go see X-Men Days of Futures Past, because it was really good. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, come back. I try to post RiffRaff every week. My YouTube schedule is extremely inconsistent, and there's really nothing I can do but deal with it. Anyways, if you enjoyed, come back. I'll try to do some more soon. Anyways, I'm Joe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.